Advertising in real estate is not only a reflection of professionalism, but also a legally enforceable representation of truth. In Arizona, the Commissioner's Rules R4-28-502 and ARS Section 32-2153 clearly prohibit false promises, misrepresentation, or any form of misleading advertising that may deceive or confuse the public. Misleading advertising occurs when a licensee presents information that is untrue, incomplete, exaggerated, or deceptive, whether intentionally or accidentally. Because the real estate industry relies heavily on public trust, the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRA, treats misleading advertising as a serious violation that can lead to disciplinary action, fines, suspension, or even revocation of a license. To understand how these rules function, it is important to first consider what constitutes misleading advertising. According to R4-28-502, all advertisements must be truthful and must not mislead or misrepresent any fact about a property, transaction, or the licensee's professional identity. A violation occurs when an advertisement creates a false impression that could influence a buyer or seller's decision-making. For example, claiming that a property has no HOA when it actually does, advertising a home's square footage inaccurately, or implying that the licensee has achieved a professional designation they do not possess, are all forms of misleading advertising. These errors, even when unintentional, violate the principle of transparency that underpins Arizona real estate law. A classic case that demonstrates the significance of this rule is Arizona Department of Real Estate versus Jones, 2008, where a licensee advertised a subdivision as fully developed with utilities ready for hookup, when in fact, utility installation had not yet begun. The ADRE found the advertisement misleading under ARS Section 32-2153 and R4-28-502, resulting in suspension of the agent's license and a civil penalty. This case highlights how exaggerated or incomplete representations can mislead consumers into making financial commitments based on false information. The ADRE also scrutinizes marketing language that implies outcomes or guarantees that cannot be substantiated. Terms like guaranteed return on investment, 100% approval financing, or risk-free purchase are prohibited because they suggest certainty where none exists. Similarly, using photographs that misrepresent a property's current condition, such as edited or digitally enhanced images that make a property appear more desirable than it is, may constitute deceptive advertising if not clearly disclosed. Any advertising that misleads by omission or exaggeration is treated the same as one containing direct falsehoods. Scenario-based examples help illustrate the consequences of these violations. Imagine a scenario where a salesperson advertises a waterfront lot with lake access in a subdivision where the lake is privately owned and restricted to residents of another development. Even if the licensee believed the statement was accurate, the ADRE would view this as misleading because it conveys an incorrect impression about the property's features. The broker could face penalties for failure to supervise under R4-28-502, and the salesperson could be fined, suspended, or required to complete remedial education. Another example involves price advertising. If a licensee posts an online listing stating that a property is reduced to $500,000, but the price has already increased or the seller did not authorize the change, it misrepresents material facts. Even if the error was caused by a delay in updating the MLS or website, the ADRE may still find a violation. The law expects licensees to exercise reasonable care and accuracy in all marketing materials, ensuring that property details remain current and truthful. Misleading advertising can also involve a licensee's representation of themselves or their business. For instance, If an agent refers to themselves as a broker when they are actually a salesperson, or uses a team name that implies brokerage ownership, Smith Realty Group, without including the employing brokerage name, the ADRI can impose sanctions. Under R4-28-502E, all advertising must identify the employing brokerage in a clear and prominent manner. Omitting this or using language that creates confusion about who holds the brokerage authority is misleading by definition. The consequences for misleading advertising depend on the severity and intent of the violation. Under ARS Section 322153, the Commissioner has the power to suspend or revoke a license for making any substantial misrepresentation or false promise. Lesser violations may result in fines or letters of concern, while more egregious cases involving fraud can lead to permanent revocation and potential criminal referral under ARS Section 32-2165. Additionally, brokers who fail to correct misleading advertising or who permit it to occur under their supervision may also face penalties for failure to supervise. The impact of misleading advertising extends beyond disciplinary measures. It damages consumer confidence and the credibility of the real estate profession. Consumers rely on the accuracy of advertisements to make major financial and emotional decisions. When those advertisements are false or incomplete, it undermines the trust that is fundamental to the relationship between real estate professionals and the public. For this reason, ADRI expects all licensees to not only follow the letter of the law, but also uphold its spirit, honesty, transparency, and integrity in every public communication review summary. Misleading advertising violates ARS Section 322153 and R428502 and can result in fines, license suspension, or revocation. Advertising must be truthful, accurate, and free from exaggeration or omission. Examples include overstating property features, using deceptive imagery, or misrepresenting professional titles. Both brokers and salespersons share responsibility for ensuring compliance, and intent is not required for a violation to occur. Negligence alone may result in discipline. Discussion. Why does ADRA treat misleading advertising as a major violation even when it is unintentional? Answer. Because the law focuses on consumer protection, not intent. Even accidental misinformation can mislead the public and violate R4-28-502 and ARS Section 32-2153A4. What are some examples of misleading advertising? Answer. Inaccurate property descriptions, exaggerated amenities, outdated prices, or failure to disclose brokerage information all qualify as misleading advertising under Arizona law. Who can be held accountable for misleading advertising? Answer. Both the individual licensee who created the advertisement and the designated broker responsible for supervision under R4-28-502C closing remarks. The foundation of ethical real estate practice rests on truth in communication. Misleading advertising erodes the integrity of the industry and exposes licensees to severe disciplinary consequences. Every advertisement must reflect the highest standards of honesty, clarity, and professionalism. By ensuring that all marketing is accurate and transparent, licensees not only comply with Arizona law, but also protect the trust that is central to every real estate transaction.